So welcome to School of Entrepreneurship 2.0. What is different about 2.0 is that we actually started the first live sessions long time ago. What was it, 3.5 years ago? And we didn't even know how many live sessions there would be. I kind of made it up as I went along, as you guys know. And the result was fantastic. And I kind of looked at what you guys were responding to, what you needed, what was missing, how things were working, how best to present material to you based on your feedback. And we had an incredible result. And we finished the class in March, and we had graduation. How many of you have graduated from the School of Entrepreneurship? All right. How many of you are guests new here for the first time? Okay. So we're continuing now post-graduation, and it's not now about introducing new material. It's about implementing what we already know that we should do. Okay, because in the end, look, it's home improvement. Okay, it's not that complicated, right? You get a lead, you sell the job, you schedule it, you install the work, you collect the check, you pay the bills, and you do it over again. All right, it's not that complicated. And then what we want to do is learn how to do 2 houses in a day, work on 2 houses in a day. Then we learn how to work on 3 houses in a day, then 4 houses in a day, and that's how we scale. We're just doing more of the same things. It's not that difficult. We don't need to make it any more difficult than we have to. And all the material that I've introduced in the school so far, I believe is what we have to learn as leaders. About 40% of it is leadership in the inner game, and that's what we really need to excel at, the inner game of entrepreneurship. And about 60% of it is, okay, tactical, what do we do? What do we do in marketing? What do we do in sales? What do we do in production and service and accounting and the appointment center? Okay, so now we're gonna talk in new ways about executing, okay? Because how many of you graduates feel that you've implemented everything that we've presented in the school? Right? Okay, nobody. So how many feel like you've implemented half of it? Half of it, okay? All right, so just a few hands here. Half of it well, maybe. All right, no hands again. So yeah, so it's a constant process of reevaluation and what's most important now, right? Because that changes. Same question, different answer. What's most important now? And that's why we have growing up initiatives that last 10 to 12 weeks. And when then we say, okay, so now we got from here to here, now what, right? And we create a new growing up initiative, right? Inside the boundary of our visual ambition goals for the year, right? So let's start some conversations about progress that we made. Progress. We love to hear stories of progress, and there's some amazing stories in this room. And sometimes for you, you might not think it's so amazing because you lived it, right? It wasn't very easy. Each day was a slog, and then you had this high moment and this boom, bad moment, and then this high moment and boom, this bad moment. And only an hour has passed, right? It's just like a roller coaster, right? One phone, oh, this is great. Oh, this is great. But so you lived it, and it seemed like a lot of work. But when we look back and say, hey, you know what? It was only 2017 I was here, and it's 2019 and I'm here. That's quite amazing. That's exponential. And so had I projected the line from the previous 5 years to now, it would have been here. But now I had a pivot point, and I'm here. What happened, right? What did I do differently? Okay, so who wants to start? All right, Buck, let's give him the box.
Last month was a pivotal month for me. And we've been hanging around, Larry, about 80 to 100, 110. I just wanted to get over 100,000 in a month. And all of a sudden, I realized that I had to change, and I had to start listening, and I had to start talking softer. So I started whispering to my whole staff, and I started taking care of the staff. And last month, we hit $285,000 in sales. Thank you. But yesterday, in one day, we wrote $124,000. So if that's not an accomplishment in my world, I'm seeing the hockey stick, not for the first time, because it's been that roller coaster, but I'll tell you what, it feels good when you can sit there or stand there, like I say, and open up your sardine can and say, okay, we're starting to get some olive oil in here. All the gears are coming together. And what a great feeling, just to set yourself, all of a sudden you see it on a whole another level, and a lot of the lessons that have been in my head are now coming back. And I'm going, God, I could really learn from that lesson now. Let me repeat that lesson. So the transformation, et cetera, et cetera. Just as simple as, my spread. Maybe I probably got one. It's pretty cool. Thank you.
If I hear you right, you're saying it wasn't anything new, it was just a new level of understanding of what you had already known.
You're hearing me right.
Okay, good, excellent. All right, someone else. Okay, Doug?
I've been really excited for probably at least the last 6 months, but when I came this morning, I took my name tag out of my my briefcase, and it's one of those older ones that on the back it says, how many employees do you have? What is your sales goal? What is your annual leads goal? What is your ADL goal? And it blew me away because I'm also experiencing the paddle end of the hockey stick in a very exceptional way. There's a lot of things that had to be fixed in our company, and there's a lot of things I was working on at the same time. And a little bit here, a little bit there, as far as marketing was concerned, as far as sales was concerned, that was a big one. My ADL was always around 1,700, which was really, really bad. And I was excited last year when it got up to over 2,000, and we raised it from like 1,300 to 2,000 in a short time. And then Larry, you told me that's really not that good. I'd like to say today my ADL is over $3,000 team ADL, and I have one salesman that has already sold $1 million this year. We're really, really, really doing awesome. So when I look at these goals, I look at my ADL goal, I'm over $200 ahead of it. I look at my leads goal, I'm several hundred leads ahead of it. And I look at my total revenue goal, which is 18 million, so from $6 to $18 million, I'm thinking if that's my ADL goal and I'm there, and if that's my lead goal and I'm there, I'm on my way to $18 million a year. This is incredible.
And what did you do like 2 years ago or 3 years ago?
2 years ago, about 7 million. Last year, or two years ago, 6 million. Last year, 7 million. And this year, we're blowing it off the charts. We have about a $3 million backlog. I can't buy trucks fast enough. It's absolutely incredible. Things are really, really, really going well.
Okay, so at the top of the Visual Ambition poster, it says a very abbreviated version of the cash calculator, leads times ADL equals sales. Is it any more complicated than this? All right, so what Doug has just said is that 2-3 years ago, he did 6 or 7 million, and now his leads run and ADL numbers to create 18 million, he's ahead of those two areas. Right? Right? And we know how to affect those two numbers. That is known. I mean, it takes some work, right? It takes some distinctions and the right people. Of course, the people, it's always about the people. So what did you do different to make the ADL number from 17 to over 3,000, which in every trade, by the way, it's different. Like, some trades 1,700 is like off the chart. It's awesome, right? But in our trade, 17 is low, 3,000 is like unbelievable. As a team average, it's unbelievable. So what did you do differently to get that number up?
There was a 2-generation step. We hired a headhunter and paid $27,000 to find a person that came from corporate America that was what would you say, a processor. Somebody had a very detailed insight on methodology and getting everything right. Absolutely no personality, absolutely no energy. Absolutely, I'll believe you guys are good salesmen when you prove it to me by your numbers, but until you come in with some numbers, the jury's still out on whether or not you'll make the team. That kind of thing. My whole sales team abandoned ship, right? Because a new process was coming in and we were serious about keeping and sticking with the sales process. The first salesman that we hired to begin to replace some of the old team that was leaving eventually took this to heart. And he spent the better part of his life getting his script right and getting the presentation right and making everything work right. And for 3 or 4 months, he had about a $4,700 ADL. My general manager was also doubling as a sales manager, which brought our ADL up to around 2,100. And we realized that we needed to have a real sales manager. We were stuck at a plateau and we needed to have the system implemented with the right kind of passion and the right kind of influence, and we had to have some synergy there. So we took that individual, we made him our sales manager. We connected him with Mike Lane and then also with Curtis out in Omaha, and really schooled him in the managing process and in the sales process. And I have my one salesman who sold over $1 million already has an ADL of over 5,700 year to date. I've got 5 or 6 salesmen that are over $3,000 ADLs. One of them who's only been selling for 3 months, out of the gate, $3,700 ADL. Just incredible.
Okay, so let me break this down if I hear what you're saying right. Number one, you got a recruiter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Number two, you set new expectations in the sales department. You said, you know what, we're going to implement this proven sales system where maybe we haven't before, or we said we would, we paid a lip service, but we didn't, we weren't disciplined about executing on a well-structured sales process. Is that fair?
Correct.
Okay. And you set new expectations.
Yes.
Right? And you got a new guy and you made an example out of him.
Right.
Okay. And then you actually wound up cleaning house, which it doesn't always have to be that way. You can teach old dogs new tricks sometimes, but you wind up getting mostly new guys and training them to the sales process, and lo and behold, your ADL goes up over 3,000.
Right.
Okay. So there you are. There you are. It's not something that can't be explained. It's not something that can't be reproduced in any sales team, right? Not that you have to do all those steps, okay? Like you might not have a problem with some aspects of what he's talking about, but this is what he needed, and lo and behold, so we've said that ADL is your key metric in the whole company, right? In the whole business machine, there's metrics for every gear. If I could pick one to excel at, ADL, that's the one. That's the most important one. I mean, they're all important, but that is, if your ADL is low, then I call it break-even ADL, right? If your ADL is below a certain level, you'll never make money. You can't make it up on volume because you're processing so many small transactions, right? And you're blowing so many leads that you'll never make money. It doesn't matter what your volume is. But when your ADL goes up, so many other things improve. Salespeople make more money. When they make more money, they stay, right? The top guys stay. I mean, the bottom guys will stay because they can't get another job. But the top guys will leave if their ADL is too low. They say, I need to make more money. I'm out. Then your production rates go up, right? If your ADL goes up, your production rates go up, right? We all understand this because if I'm a foreman and I have a $5,500 job to do today, then I can do $5,500 worth of work today. I have that shot. If I'm looking at a proposal that says $2,100, what's the most I can install today? $2,100, right? I do that 5 days in a row, right? Not, in our industry. Some industries, that's awesome, okay? But in our industry, $10,000 per truck per week is not good. So production rates go up. We have less fuel, less miles driven per dollar of revenue, right? We have less transactions to process for, $100,000 worth of revenue, right? If our ADL is low, we might have to process 35 transactions. Again, every industry is different, so it's all relative. But if I have to process 35 transactions to get 100,000 in revenue, or if my ADL was up, I only process 18 transactions to get 100,000 in revenue. So that's less accounting work per dollar, right? Less appointment center work per dollar, less service work per dollar, less scheduling work per dollar, right? Less customers to deal with per dollar, right? Less chances for things to go wrong. So, and then if the guy's production rate goes up, the foreman makes more money, right? And if the foreman makes more money, he stays, right? And he gets better. He makes less mistakes. He needs less management, right? Customers are happier. When customers are happy, you get more referrals. Marketing cost goes down. You see how it's all connected to ADL, right? Are all these things happening in your business?
Yep, every one of them.
Is net margin going up?
Huge.
Yeah. So there we are. Okay. So we've got to be experts at selling. And we said that it's not the best craftsmen that win in the marketplace, is it? Not the company that does the best work. Who wins? That's right. The company that markets the best and sells the best. The rest you can figure out. Right? So awesome job, Doug.